Hello, everyone, and welcome to Body Bags. I'll be your reviewer for today. I am Sinema77, horror and cult film lover. Well, last weekend, my brother he got 2 free passes to the movies, and he asked me if I wanted to go with him. Told him I did, but then it was a question of what movie are we going to see. Well, we both decided we're going to go see Jim Jarmusch's film, The Dead Don't Die. So we went to go see it, and I thought, yeah, this is definitely something I would like to review for the channel. The movie, I personally very much enjoyed the movie, but I think this movie is going to be very polarizing, to be honest with you. I think it's going to be kind of split right down the middle. I think this is going to be one of those movies, not really, you're not going to have too many people be like, it's okay. I think this is going to definitely be one of those kind of movies. Either you love it or you hate it. It is, it is a horror zombie comedy and stuff, but I think, you're going to find out watching this movie, the humor is very subjective. It's not going to be everybody's cup of tea. But anyway, I was pleasantly surprised when I went to go see this movie. Okay, the story, I mean, it's a zombie story, so there's not it's you don't have to get too into it, but the story is pretty basic. It's pretty simple. The movie starts off. You got your two main characters, Cliff, played by Bill Murray, and Ronnie, played by Adam Driver, and they're going out into the woods and they're talking to this homeless guy played by Tom Waits. And, they're asking him if, he had, because, some chickens went missing and they think that, from this farmer. Now, okay, real quick, I need to go ahead and get out of the way. This movie, for a zombie comedy, this movie actually has an all-star cast. I mean, just everybody in this movie is somebody that you recognize. I mean, this is really, for people who are out there always saying that they want more diversity in a movie, this is your dream. I mean, this is one of the most diverse casts I've ever seen in a movie, just about. I mean, you got Bill Murray, Adam Driver, Chloe Sevigny, you got Tilda Swinton, you got Steve Buscemi, Danny Glover, Caleb Landry Jones, you got Selena Gomez, Carol Kane. I mean, you got Tom Waits. Oh my God, RZA. You got so many people in this movie. It's really, it's amazing. I would say that would probably be my biggest gripe about this movie is the cast is so big and so diverse that unfortunately, for the movie, this movie kind of needs to be a little bit longer because not everybody, like I said, you got this gigantic cast of characters and not everybody really gets their real moment to shine in this movie. But anyway, going back to the story, they they realize that they're trying to talk to Tom Waits. Did he take these chickens? And Tom Waits is just shooting at him, and he's just telling Bill Murray, "Fuck you," and all this stuff. And so they're driving back into town, and Adam Driver and Bill Murray, they're discussing Adam Driver's character Ronnie. He's like, should I? You think maybe we should like brought that guy into town, maybe put him in jail and stuff? And Bill Murray's kind of like, he's almost kind of like an Andy Griffith type of sheriff, he's kind of really laid back, kind of just, kind of lets everything roll off his shoulders, kind of takes everything with a grain of salt. And I don't really need to go that far. I've known him for a long time and stuff like that. So, but then they start to, okay, one of the things, I'm sorry, I know I'm kind of breaking up here instead of just kind of like explaining the story, but it's kind of hard with this movie. One of the things that really, really surprised me when I went into this movie, I was being Jim Jarmusch. Now, Jim Jarmusch isn't really particularly known for, like working in the horror genre. I think more of his movies are kind of more like dramas and character pieces and things like that. And so going into this, I really did not expect this movie to really have a strong horror element to it. I thought it was going to be more comedic. It was going to be more character driven. And what really, really surprised me about this movie is, it seems, for me anyway, it seems very clear that Jim Jarmusch has a real love and respect for the zombie genre and for George Romero. And there are many, many, many references to Night of the Living Dead in this movie, as well as other Romero zombie films. Like because like they're driving back into town and they're talking about, well, this is kind of weird, because it's 8 o'clock and it's still light. Now, if you watch Night of the Living Dead, I mean, that's like one of the first lines of dialogue, it's 8 o'clock and it's still light. And then they're talking about how things are kind of weird, and it's like the animals are acting weird and all this other kind of stuff. And then the difference is though is like where Romero was always ambiguous as to what started the zombie apocalypse in his movies. Pretty much Jarmusch goes ahead and explains like what is causing the zombie apocalypse in his movie. He's explained that it's called solar fracking. And you got this news reporter played by Rosie Perez, and she's explaining that basically what's going on is that the Earth is not spinning on its axis normally; that it's actually going in reverse, and things are getting weird, and that's why, like for instance, it's like midnight and it'll still be bright daylight outside, or the animals are acting weird, and ultimately what ends up leading to is that the dead start coming out of their graves and they start attacking the living. And funny though too is like I think everybody be like, yeah, it's fitting because he looks like a zombie anyway. But one of the very first zombies to come back from the dead is actually Iggy Pop. So he does look very very zombie-ish here. So I imagine a lot of people would be like, imagine they probably didn't have to put a lot of makeup on him. But anyway though, and it turns out that Carol Kane, her character is already dead, and she's going to come back as a zombie. I really want to try not to give away too much, but other elements of Jarmusch, like respecting George Miro and paying tribute to him. It's like Selena Gomez's character is driving, a 68 or 60 was it 68 Le Mans. Very much the same make and model character that Johnny and Barbara were driving at the beginning of Night of the Living Dead. And then, in this small town of Centerville, you have like all these, really different characters. You have Steve Buscemi. He's playing, a racist farmer, and he's even wearing like a red hat, and it says "Make America White Again." You got Danny Glover, who's just kind of like the older guy who's kind of like retired, but he runs the hardware store. But he's just like the nice old guy, just kind of hangs out and is kind of friends with everybody, and just really just being a sweet guy, the kind of guy like everybody can get along with him. You got Caleb Landry Jones. Everybody keeps teasing him, calling him Baggins, and because his character is supposed to be kind of like a nerdy character, but I mean, because Caleb Landry Jones, I mean, you've seen him in Last Exorcism, you've seen him in Get Out, so I mean, his character is kind of really odd and weird, so no surprise there. But also too, so this movie's going to get into some good horror elements too. When you got Larry Fessenden in the movie, when he shows up, you're like, oh yeah, there's going to be a good horror element to this movie, because Larry Fessenden, I don't think he would have done this movie if there wasn't. But anyway, so yeah, eventually the dead do start to rise, and they're starting to kill people and eat their flesh, and you got the morgue attendant, who's played by Tilda Swinton, and her character. Everybody's kind of curious because her character is supposed to be really kind of strange, because she's a trained samurai. I mean, honestly, if Michonne had a white Irish sister, Michonne from The Walking Dead, if she had like a white Irish sister, Tilda Swinton's character would have been it. So she's very proficient with a sword and all this other kind of stuff. And so anyway, yeah, the Earth starts going the wrong way. The dead start coming back, and then pretty much it's up to the three main characters, Cliff and Ronnie and Mandy, played by Chloe Sevigny. It's pretty much it's up to them to try to stop the zombies, and they're taking over the world and things like that. And I'm really trying not to give away too much here, but yeah, I really enjoyed the movie. Like gore wise, I was a little bit pleasantly surprised. I mean, you're not going to get, if you're going into this hoping you're going to get kind of like the Peter Jackson level, Dead Alive level of gore, you're going to be disappointed. But I will say though, I am very pleasantly surprised. There was a decent amount of gore in this movie. There's a bit of gut chomping and stuff like that. So, like I said, the movie really did surprise me. I think that's one of the things I really liked about it. I was going into this movie thinking it was just going to be kind of more of a goofball, silly comedy. It wasn't really going to be much of a horror element to it, but no, it's actually got a pretty strong horror element to it. And the photography of the movie is beautiful. The cinematography is great. There's actually scenes in the graveyards when the dead are coming back. It is so beautifully shot. It's so gothic and so dark and so crazy and stuff, and it's just wonderfully done. And yeah, the thing is, like, I think honestly, this movie would be what Quentin Tarantino would call like a hangout movie, because the movie is a little bit slow paced. I admit it's a bit of a slow burn. It kind of takes time to get going and stuff, but once it gets going, it's really good. The beginning of the movie, you're kind of trying to get to know all these characters, particularly Cliff, Ronnie, and Mandy. You're trying to get to know their characters, and but these are characters like you want to hang out with them. You want to just hang out, and listen to them talk and joke, and you got Ronnie. It's very clear that he has a crush on Mandy, and but Mandy, I mean, she's not. That's the thing that's great about like Chloe Sevigny's character Mandy in this movie. She's not rude. She's not. Oh, to hell with you. I don't need a man or anything. I mean, she's just kind of like, yeah, I can take care of myself, but I do appreciate you. I appreciate you as a friend and everything. So I mean, she's nice about it, but yeah, I would say that's probably, in my opinion, the biggest problem with this movie is just that is you got such a huge cast in this movie, and just kind of like not everybody gets really their time to shine. Like some of the characters, you're kind of like really surprised, like wow, they're not in the movie very long. But honestly, yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think if you enjoy movies like if you enjoy zombie comedies like Cognies versus Zombies, Shaun of the Dead, Zombies, stuff like that, you might enjoy this. But like I said, the humor in this movie is very, very polarizing. It's not gonna, I've already heard some people say like, to them the jokes fall completely flat. The jokes are just atrocious. They're no good. And to them, the movie's a waste of time. I don't feel that way. But like I said, I think this is going to be a kind of movie that it's not going to be like people, it was okay. I think this is just going to be one of those kind of movies. Either you love it or you hate it. Personally, I loved it and I recommend it, especially if you love a good zombie comedy. I do. But yeah. And like I said, I was very pleasantly surprised. The movie has more gore than I initially thought it would have. The movie does have a strong horror element to it. Jarmusch, even though like horror is not really his, it's not really what he's known for or anything. Like I said, his movies are kind of more humor and character driven and things like that. But he does a great job paying tribute, loving tribute to George Romero, and these kind of nice little like in jokes and sight gags and things like that. And you even have a part where Ronnie, Adam Driver's character is basically saying that the zombies are pretty much like kind of like how in Dawn of the Dead, when our four characters are talking about they're coming to the mall because this place was important in their lives, and they're drawn, even though they're dead and they're reanimated corpses, they're drawn to what they love in life and everything. It's kind of illustrated in here in this movie as well, even though it's done in a little more humorous way. But overall, yeah, I definitely recommend it. I really enjoyed The Dead Don't Die, and I honestly think, if you get a chance, go out and see it. I'm sorry if I didn't really explain the plot of the movie too much. I mean, it's a zombie movie. There's not a whole lot to explain, but if I keep explaining more, I'm going to get into spoilers, and I don't want to ruin the movie for anybody. But yeah, honestly, it's a good movie. I definitely recommend it. If you love a good zombie comedy, check it out. So that's it. So if anybody took the time to watch this video, I thank you for doing it, and I appreciate you for doing it. If you haven't, if you watch this video, if you haven't yet, go ahead and subscribe to the Body Bags channel. You could subscribe to my channel too. I am Sinema77. That's spelled sin as in sin, evil. Sinema 77, horror and cult film lover. And yeah, please check out Body Bags. We have great videos. We have great guys doing great stuff. There's a reviewer for every day of the week. I'm the Saturday reviewer. So yeah, this is Sinema77, horror and cult film lover. Wishing you all good night. Take care, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.